7 yet. It's not 7.
We're on air.
Well, but it's not 7 o'clock.
Good evening, everybody. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
You got it. King.
Present.
Hugh.
Present.
Litt.
Here.
Jalogley.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Cardamone.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Liaison reports.
Yes, I have one for special events.
Ms. Blanchard.
All right. It's on. And would you pray with me? God, you are the very definition of awesome. Thank you for keeping us safe in the recent storms, and please keep us strong and ready for whatever may lie ahead. We pray for the men and women in the military who are serving in the Middle East today. Please keep them in your care and bring them home safe and soon. Give our leaders great wisdom in all they do. We pray also for those who serve here at home, our police, firefighters, and EMTs. Please give them strength for the dangers they face every day. Keep them safe and bless their homes and families. And finally, we're grateful for our city leaders and council members and all those who work to keep Lockport a great place to live. Please help them have unity, give them wisdom as they make decisions on behalf of those they represent, and bless them in all they put their hands to. Amen.
Amen. Okay, yes, I have a couple of liaison reports for special events. The 2026 Hero banners are being worked on now. They'll be going up next month. There will be an opening ceremony for the Hero banners on Memorial Day. More information will follow on that. And also the Route 66 car benches are underway. We will be having a sneak peek at the first one will be at the public landing, and that will be at the end of April, and our ribbon cutting will be on May 23rd for all of our Route 66 benches, celebrating our 100th year. And that's all I have.
Nothing for me.
Nothing for you? I just have a little one. The Finance Department would like to share that it's time for the audit to begin. The auditors will start on Monday, and they will continue their work for about 2 weeks.
I have something. There we go. Thank you. I was worried about it. Didn't know if I'd have a visual. May 16th, we have Recycling Resource Fair. I am very excited about this event. We're having the students from Interact, LTHS, they're collecting bags. We're also having Bloom Lockport, and we're also having Public Works come by, so any electronics recycling you need to get done, bring it on down. We are there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We are kind of piggybacking off of Clean Sweep, which is that same day, which starts at 8 a.m. until about 10 a.m. And it'll be in the parking lot of the Illinois State Museum. Secondly, in your water bill, you might have seen it. It's the community garden. We have 5 plots have been purchased for the year, I guess is not exactly the right word, but reserved for the year, which I think is pretty good considering that the weather hasn't been with us and you're not really thinking gardening right now. It's a 4x8 foot raised bed, available on a first come first served basis. We have 16 beds available. You can go ahead and scan the QR code or get a hold of the Lockport Township Park District, and they'll set you up with a bed. That's it.
I have nothing.
No report at this time.
Okay, going to meet the girls wrestling team up at the podium. This is exciting. The girls wrestling team, for the second time in 3 years, we're second in the state, and so they had a brand new coach this year, Coach Amir Karras, and he did a great job. He did a great job in his first year. We had some girls that placed, so just some recognition. But first, Coach, if you want to go ahead and say a few things about the girls.
Thank you everyone for having us over here, congratulating these girls on an amazing season. They really, they deserve what they got at state. Second place is an amazing accomplishment, and these girls really deserved every piece of it, so thank you.
All right, Julia Hernandez. There we go. Elena Chernovic is not here. Camila Mendoza. Okay. Bella Romando. Veronica Skibicki.
She's not here.
Not here. Isabella Rojas.
Not here.
Chloe Skalf.
Not here.
Oh. Heidi Castillo Sanchez. All right. Claudia Haney.
Not here.
She's not here. Riley Morrow. Catherine Martinez. She's not here. Alex Hardesty.
Not here.
She's not here. Myra Vencio Ramos. She's not here. Jaylene Mack. She's not here. She is here. Sophie Kellner.
Thank you.
And then Rebecca Ramirez. Okay, and we have three special recognitions. Claudia Heaney, her freshman year she came in second place. The last 3 years she was state champion. She was the very first female wrestler at Lockport High School ever to become the state champion. And I don't know, is she going off to college to wrestle?
Yep.
Okay.
In Menlo College over in California.
Menlo College in California, okay. And then Sophie Kellner, I believe you got fourth place?
Yes.
That's great, okay. And you're a senior?
Yes,
And what are you going to do next year?
I'm going to wrestle at Wisconsin Stevens Point.
She's going to wrestle at Wisconsin Stevens Point. That's great. And finally, Rebecca Ramirez, she came in third. She's only a junior, so there's always next year. And she's probably the favorite to take it all. She should go undefeated, give up no points, and go ahead and pin everybody within 20 seconds the entire season. And she should go 45-0 next year, right, Rebecca? I hope so. Are we going to take a picture up here? Okay, all right.
How many wrestlers are on the team total?
We started out with like 55 and we got it to about 39-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's impressive. Nice work. No, Jaya. No, Jaya. You're in. If I'm in, you're in.
Hold on, girls. Y'all get a mug and a pen.
And stickers!
You know that it's illegal at C2E2 to give out stickers?
Is that illegal?
We were the you're forbidden from giving out stickers. And we gave out a ton. So, because people, I talked to another booth and they're like, you want a tattoo? And I was like, tattoo? I was like, why don't you guys stickers? Like, these are stickers. And they're like, we know, their stickers are forbidden but from exhibitors. And I was like, oh, Good to know. I didn't pass it because we didn't. All we had was stickers and chapsticks, but I gave them away. There was plenty. Ben said that they had plenty of chapstick. I did tell him to bring more.
So as we always tell people who get honored, you're welcome to leave if you choose to leave. You're welcome to stay if you choose to stay. So we're just move on into the next part of the meeting. So we have a proclamation. It says, whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees, and this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and world, and trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And so Mayor Steve Streit, Mayor of the City of Lockport, did hereby proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the City of Lockport. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generation, dated this first day of April 2026. Okay. All right, so I need a motion to have a consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Jonathan and JR. Regular city council minutes from March 18th, 2026. Committee of the whole meeting minutes from March 18th, 2026. Payroll period ending March 15th, 2026. Bills through March 24th, 2026. Resolution number 26-039, a 6-month review of executive session minutes as required by the Open Meetings Act. Resolution number 25-038, release of bond initial acceptance of site improvement for Silo Bend, 163rd Street improvements. Resolution number 26-041 to accept a proposal from Baxter and Woodman Natural Resources in the amount of $564,264.50 to design and build Milne Creek Reach 2. And finally, resolution number 26-042, authorizing the replacement of parking lot gates at the police department. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Joanne and JR, all in favor?
Aye.
What do we do? We have to do a roll call?
It's consent. Do we have to do a roll call? A roll call?
Yes.
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 Aye.
Okay, resolution of regular business items, CA 1.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. Resolution 2656 is authorizing the city administrator or the city attorney to purchase residential property at 107 South State Street, which is at 2nd and State in Lockport. There's a couple.
Ben, do I need to make a
Oh,
motion
yeah, 'cause it's
before
action.
we can discuss?
Thank you, yes.
We'll make,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
Now we can discuss.
Okay.
Well, could have discussed after.
So this property, The city notice came on the market in recent weeks, and in discussions with the mayor and city council, we've decided to purchase it. We'd call this a strategic acquisition, nothing imminent. This is positioning, basically. It is at the entranceway of Second and State, which could be to the future Star Innovation District, so it made some sense. We had dealt with the realtor, Mike McCarthy, and the buyer accepted our offer of $290,000. I believe it was listed at $299,000, and then we would handle some of the extra costs. So unless there's any questions, the owner will be allowed to stay in the home with proof of insurance until June, and then we'll disconnect the utilities and probably budget for potential demolition in the future. So.
Any questions?
The person who currently lives there wants to leave in June?
Yes, they were thrilled about the sale, but they're in the process of moving to their new home and asked if they could stay a few extra weeks or months as they organize to get out. Yeah.
Roll call, please.
You got it. King.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Aye.
CA2, resolution number 26055, authorizing the city administrator and city attorney to purchase real property at 108 7th Street, downtown Lockport, for $294,350. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
JR and Susan?
Thank you, members of the council. This item and the next item kind of come together. There are two lots specifically at the corner of 7th and State. There was a home on one and the other was vacant. We have discussed with the property owners and a representing seller, former Alderwoman Renee Sabin is in the audience tonight, is also on record as one of the property owners. This will be basically a future parking lot in support of downtown commercial and retail development. We're looking to purchase this first parcel for $294,350 for 108 7th Street.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Aye.
Resolution number 26-054, authorizing the city administrator and city attorney to purchase real property located at 623 South State Street, downtown Lockport, for $150,500. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
JR and Jonathan?
Thank you. This item here is in support of the commercial residential building that we are eminently looking to bring in at 711 South State Street. It's a key intersection. This would be combined with the home in the back that we would demolish and have a future parking lot to support the downtown development. The agreed price was $150,500, seeking to approve resolution 26054.
Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 26053, authorizing the purchase of two Dell PowerEdge R570 servers from VR6 Systems. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I had a chance to talk with Dennis and Ben about this, and appreciate the additional discussion around the item and the opportunity to ask a ton of questions ahead of tonight's vote. What gives me confidence in supporting this purchase is that these servers represent planned replacements for aging infrastructure. They're appropriately sized based on current and near-term needs, and they allow the city to fully utilize the storage system that was already purchased last year and has not yet been fully leveraged. Also recognize that this is a time-sensitive decision with known price increases and long lead times in the hardware market, up to 60 days. Delaying action could expose the city to higher costs and operational risk. While a longer-term IT roadmap is still being finalized, I'm comfortable that this investment supports stability today and preserves flexibility as that planning work continues. And for those reasons, I will be supporting the resolution.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Aye.
Okay, now moving to open floor comments. For comments, I have Jeremy Brzezinski.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
So during the public comment, Jeremy, you'll have 5 minutes. It's your comments to the city council. There isn't any exchange of dialogue between the council or staff, so go ahead.
Right, I'm here to discuss driveway removal. I've got 2 driveways, and there is a city, can you guys educate me on it? Is it a city ordinance enforced by, is this regarding the 2 driveway removal, is it a city ordinance? Is it by, like, legal law? Who upholds the,
Jump in, sure.
I lack the
Yeah, I mean, it's been a policy that we've been doing for probably the last 10 years that I can think of. It was in response to a lot of the, what we'll call parkway parking, whether it's gravel or in situations like this where you have the additional aprons. And so in lieu of the discussion that the council had at that time, and I can't tell you what year it was, but we were here talking about it, and maybe it was 2014 or 2015 before we started launching most of the reconstructions in the downtown. We could go around and do code enforcement today on a daily basis and write people up, but what the policy was decided was that we would address these as we do reconstruction. And so we don't want to be knocking on residents' doors saying, hey, you're out of compliance. I've met Jeremy on the street with Brian Lovering, and we've had some conversations. And what we said was, when we'll address these kind of anomalies or scenarios as we do reconstruction. And so with the proposed project in rewidening of Jefferson and resurfacing and utilities, now is the time that we would address this. So we've approached the homeowner that we would be removing the apron that's not being utilized right now it's in the city right away up to the sidewalk. I believe Jeremy purchased a home in 1993 where the previous homeowner converted the garage space to living space, and so it's not really a driveway anymore, it's a carport of sorts. But again, you've got a home at the corner that has a fully functional driveway in the back and a driveway in the front, and so we've been removing these kind of non-compliant to policy scenarios as we move along.
Okay, I'll begin then my statement. My name is Jeremy Brzezinski. I live at the property of 1100 South Jefferson Street. I'm here regarding the planned removal of my driveway on Jefferson Street. This is part of the street infrastructure improvements. Keep in mind, this is a single-family home. My wife, 2 children, and I are the only residents who live here. I am the second owner of this home only. I think that's pretty rare in my district of Lockport. Some of the homes have been around for 100 years and probably had thousands of, tens of different owners. This is a corner lot. The home has existed for 70 years. It has had 2 concrete driveways servicing the home for over 30 years. I was informed that I will be losing my driveway that is accessible from Jefferson Street. To me, this is not about losing a driveway or parking space. The Jefferson Street driveway serves as the side of my home that contains the only primary entry doors to my house. including one door directly attached to this driveway. This is the most direct and functional way that the home is accessed on a daily basis. The removal of this driveway creates a practical hardship for residents and guests. To help illustrate this, I've handed you guys my handout. Please see Exhibit 1, marked at the top of the page. I provide an aerial layout here. This graphic depicts the practical hardship felt by the residents. Marked by the yellow X's, those are my only two primary entry doors to the residence. They are on the Jefferson Street side. Once again, there are no doors on the 11th Street side of my driveway, which would require a resident or a guest to walk all the way around the corner to enter the house. This was the home. The home was originally designed this way because the extension wasn't put on yet. The design of this house was naturally meant to flow from these two doors. And speaking of original designs, please turn to Exhibit 2. This shows the original blueprints of the home that was built by Ray and Jean Durin. I received these blueprints upon my purchase of the property in December of 2021, not 1993, as said earlier. As you can see from the blueprints here, these two doors were constructed with the home. These two entry doors have always been part of the home, and the home was designed to allow primary access from these two doors. The plan for a driveway apron is also indicated here, and for over 70 years, these two doors have existed, and they remain today the most practical way to enter the house as it was designed this way. Please see Exhibit 3, which contains my garage and driveway off of 11th Street. This is the extension and addition of the home. As you can see here, this is the 11th Street side of my garage. It has two garage doors. It does not include an entry door, meaning that if the garage doors are down, there is absolutely no way to get into the house from this street. There is not a keypad to enter the home. There is not a door, as I mentioned. And that's because when this addition was put on, this was never meant to be the primary entry point of the house. It was never intended to. And if I have to park on this driveway now, it requires me to walk all the way across the corner and up to Jefferson Street. This potential change turns what is currently direct and functional access into indirect and less practical access. I spoke to Ben and Brian last week, and while I do appreciate the city's willingness to discuss some form of compensation, it failed to address the core issue. The removal of this driveway affects how the home is used on a daily basis. It affects how the residents will enter the home. It affects how the guests will enter the home. It affects how deliveries will be received. It simply introduces a level of inconvenience where a functional and direct access point already exists. This configuration has existed for decades. The original driveway dates back to when the home was built. You already saw that in the blueprints pointed out here. And then in 1993, a second driveway was added with the garage. Please turn to Exhibit 4. I want to note now that the garage and driveway configuration were constructed with permits. These permits were formally approved by the city, including a certificate of occupancy signed off by the then city planner, Douglas Blocker. Therefore, this is not an informal or accidental condition. This configuration was reviewed by the city, approved by the city, and it has remained on the property for decades. And as a result, the house has relied on this configuration for decades. This is not a request to add something new, but simply to preserve a long-standing and functional condition. Access, this is what we're discussing, access is a fundamental component of how a property functions and how it is valued. Reducing direct access to the primary entrances on Jefferson Street impacts both the usability and the overall marketability. Please see Exhibit 5. You have to go move through a few pages, as Exhibit 4 was 3 pages long. Exhibit 5 shows the listing for my home before I purchased it. This is taken from the real estate website Redfin. The same description can be read on Zillow and other real estate websites. The driveway proposed for removal is literally listed in the description. It is nestled right in between all the other selling points that come with the home. When my wife and I looked at this property back in 2021, we were instructed to park in this driveway. We were instructed, we were given the keys to go into the door. Back in Exhibit 2, we were instructed to go into the yellow outline door, the primary door, entrance 1. This door is literally directly off of the driveway. And that is because the home was originally designed to be entered from these doors. Now, I understand the intention behind the ordinance, but I am asking how situations like mine are considered when that policy creates a real functional hardship due to the layout of the property. I have observed other properties in the similar improvement areas that have been completed with this most recent road work that was completed last summer. I've observed other properties that fall under that that have been able to retain their multiple driveways. I'm trying to understand today how those decisions were made relative to my situation today. I respectfully ask the city to retain my Jefferson Street driveway, or at a bare minimum, pause the removal and allow further review for this specific situation.
Thank you. Okay, anything else from the council? Okay. Need a motion to adjourn the city council meeting? Joanne?
Second.
JR? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Present.
Present.
Yes.
Here.
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 Here?
Here. Okay. CA1.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Members of the council, Resolution 26044 is approving an intergovernmental agreement on IGA between Will County Forest Preserve and the city of Lockport for the Lockport Loop Trail design engineering costs. We've done an agreement with Will County Forest Preserve. If you recall, back in, I think it was in 2023, we did a feasibility study with them in keeping in the spirits of the opportunity to add pedestrian biking over to the Des Plaines River. We've come up with a proposal with V3 to move forward with the designs on this. Resolution 26044 would be sharing those costs at a 50% marking. There's a map on your screen right now where we're proposing, the Lockport Loop is actually the blue path that you see on your screen. Phase 1 or stage 1 would literally be going up to the river on Division Street and going north. I know that there's a drawing somewhere in your packet that does show cyclists going south, but that part was rejected by the Corps of Engineers. They don't want people traversing down to the locks, but they did agree to, and I know that's another item coming up, that they would allow us to utilize the Division Street Bridge for pedestrians to get over to the river, and then we can go by the Seven Arches Bridge and up to the 9th Street area. So this would be, the city did budget $107,000 to get the stage 1 designs done. This would be a $213,600 design, and the Will County Forest Preserve will cover half those costs at $106,800. There's a picture of me and the mayor on the Riverwalk last year, so. Happy to take any questions about the item in regards to continuing the design for the pedestrian trail.
Okay, no questions. We want consent or action?
Either one's fine.
Consent?
Sure.
Okay, consent.
I do have one question. What is the material of the, is it going to be, not asphalt, is it?
So that will be determined as part of the design and one of the cost considerations. Most likely, it probably would be an asphalt path, like a 10-foot asphalt path. In discussions with the Corps, they're going to want to set back from the river wall, like 10 feet. There may be barriers or chains or ropes, and those are the kind of considerations we want to work out with them with the design. The next item is about the easement agreement with them that kind of explains some of their stipulations too. So, but most likely it'll probably be asphalt.
Okay, CA2?
Yeah, CA2 is an item kind of among the same topic. Resolution 26047 is a consent agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to have the pedestrian path go across the Division Street Bridge. The aerial on your screen showing that structure is actually owned by the Corps. There's actually a brass plaque on the bridge. They own and operate it. They're going to allow us to utilize this with the a maintenance agreement where once we put paint markings on it, we have to maintain it, and a few other stipulations about security and lighting. But at the end of the day, there's the beginning of the path that would pick up the I&M Canal, have green paint on the roadway of Division, bring you over to the Division Street Bridge with their permission to get over to the Des Plaines River. And then the future path with the Corps or with the Forest Preserve will go north along the riverway. The consent agreement, resolution 26047, would allow me to execute the consent agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Everybody good with consent?
Yes.
Okay. CD1.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This is Resolution 26050. Matt Garland, you may have actually seen him in the paper this morning. He was serving on the County Zoning Board in their contentious hearing regarding the 6,100-acre solar farm that's being proposed down by Manhattan. So I asked him this morning if he would have preferred to have come back and worried about a Dunkin' Donuts versus 150 people in the room trying to ask questions about a solar field. But he said he still wanted to serve there. So tonight, the mayor is presenting Matt O'Hare, who is in our audience tonight, as a replacement for Matt Garland on our Plan and Zoning Commission. I shared his resume with all of you earlier this week. Be happy to take any questions, and if you have any specifically for him, he would be happy to answer them as well.
Matt, why don't you just come up to the podium and introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about you?
Well, good evening. My name is Matthew O'Hare. Myself and my family have been residents of Lockport since 2005 when we had one little youngster, and now we have 3 older boys, 2 in college, 1 in high school. We've raised them in the beautiful town here. Very impressed with what's happened with the downtown area. Very pleased with the improvements, which we use often. My boys are also in Boy Scouts here in Lamont and in Lockport as well. Doing a lot of community work and so forth. Very proud of the town. As of late, I've had some great conversations with Lance and the mayor about what's happening around the area, and I'm honored to be asked to be part of the Planning and Zoning Committee. So I feel like being here as long as I have, I know a little bit about the town. Very familiar with the Dairy Queen over there, Ms. Christine. So. But if you all have any questions, for me personally, from my work experience, back in '95, I started as a 134 electrician, and then through the years, I went to work for engineering companies, commercial general contractors, and as of today, I'm a managing director of power construction in the city of Chicago. So.
Cool. Any questions for Matt? Well, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, consent? Yes. All right.
Thank you.
And then CD2.
Our second item tonight related to these different boards is Resolution 26049. Just as kind of context, the ICCBA is the International Code Council Board of Appeals. It has 5 members on it and then 2 liaisons from the city council. This organization has never met in its entire existence of well over 2 decades, which to a degree is a good sign because it says that our building official and our building inspectors are doing their job and following codes that the city and the council have adopted. And what this board typically hears is if there is an objection from a resident or a contractor related to a decision that a building official made, and they can't get any resolution related to the International Building Code and the other codes that we follow for building department stuff specifically. And they have never been able to meet. We were going to engage this organization when we redid the building code last August. If you remember that, we approved the updated 2024 codes. When we reached out to the various members, 2 resigned and 2 were non-responsive. And so that was taken as a resignation as well. And so we were put in a position where we needed to get 3 new people who were more energized and more available to be able to participate. And so we are presenting these 3 gentlemen to you tonight for adoption and placement on the ICCBA.
Sure. Consent, everybody? Okay. CD3.
Thank you. This is related to MI Homes, Sadie Ridge. This is, even though it's classified as a major change within our plan development statute, it's really a minor change administratively. The location, you are all aware, is east of I-385, north of Bruce Road. Has R1 and R3 zoning. This is specific to the R3 zoning. This is the PUD plan for the neighborhood. The R2 zoning is highlighted and enlarged on the left-hand side. This is primarily related to the townhome section. The issue came up when we were receiving the plats for them to build the townhome structures. This goes back to, again, that platting issue that we have with attached single-family homes. The way that they plat them to reflect the HOA obligations in common areas versus what they reflect in the private common areas are not the same as what you would do for a detached home. We recently updated those codes a month or 2 ago. Those have been implemented into the code. However, this was approved before all of those came before you. And so tonight, they are requesting a major change for a couple modifications. It's 3 specifically. So their front yard minimum setback is proposed to be 5 feet. Now, that's 5 feet only because the property line is 5 feet in front of the garage, because the HOA owns the rest of the driveway out to the street. And so what we do when we work with the developers initially, or what we can do now that we have the code in place, is we can make sure the homes are still 25 feet off of the right-of-way for the driveway itself. But the technical front yard setback would be to where that person owns the property to. And in this case, it's 5 feet. The side yard is the same thing. As you can see on the graphic, the purple one, specifically the one on the top part of the image, you can see where the street would be on the top part of the image. You still have well over 25 feet of a corner side yard, but again, because of where the property is actually privately platted, is only 5 feet. And then the rear is the same thing. It would be 13 feet instead of the 25. This makes no changes to the density, no changes to the existing buildings, no changes to the layout, no changes to additional buildings. It is just simply a function of numbers and reflecting what is actually being platted out there. I'd be happy to take any questions. The findings of fact were in your packet as part of the Plan Commission report. I can go through these. I don't think that I have to unless anybody has any specific questions related to them.
So the property line is set back 20 feet off the street, and that line changed from one set of plans to the next? Or it's
No.
just been described differently?
So this was approved before we made any of the district changes related to attached single family. And so when we laid it out, we worked with them on making sure that we had 25 feet for the corner side yard. We made sure we had 25 feet for the front yard. And then when we started to get the actual plats, it reflects 5 feet off of the face of the garage. And so technically, the front yard setback for a private property owner would be the 5 feet. This started really with the 13 feet in the rear yard setback because there was a misunderstanding. MI thought they were measuring from the easement line, which is where the utility easements run behind, but we had a number of long conversations to reflect that it's the private property line is where that number is pulled from, and so that's where that came from.
Thanks.
Okay, CD4?
Thank you. This is related to two different items, Ordinance 26-009 and Resolution 26048. Just want to make sure we get both of those on the agenda for the next meeting. Background on this is that NOR has submitted an application for final development plans and a request for a special use permit for a multi-tenant drive-through development at the southwest corner of 159th Street and Farrell Road. You can see the location bordered in red on your screen. It is currently zoned C2 Community Commercial, and it has a special use permit currently on it, but that special use permit is from 2002, and it was for a gas station. The applicant is requesting a new special use permit for a multi-tenant drive-through development. The property is about 1.5 acres. It's located, like I said before, on Farrell and 159th Street. They are seeking approval of final development plans and special use permits, and per the zoning code, the drive-through is what pushes this into a special use permit. They are not asking for any other variances or not asking for any other modifications. It's just simply the approval of the special use permit that gets us over the hump. From a zoning standpoint, like I said before, it's C2 with a special use permit for a gas station that occurred in 2002. The site plan illustrates the two different buildings. The one on the left is proposed to be a Jimmy John's as well as another tenant. The Jimmy John's would have the drive-through. The one on the right is the Dunkin' Donuts Baskin Robbins area. That one would be closest to Farrell and 159th Street. The access off of Farrell Road would be via the existing Culver's entrance. However, when this goes in, that entrance will be converted to a right-in, right-out access point, which actually aligns with the agreements that were made a long time ago for the Rose Center to the south as Culver's was getting developed. People will come in on that Culver's entry drive. They can make a right-hand turn directly into the parking lot, or a right-hand turn then also into the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, or they can continue straight to get into the west retailers entrance. There are bypass lanes on both sides of this. As a part of this, they are dedicating 10 feet of the property along 159th Street to be able to accommodate a potential future right turn lane on 159th Street for the city's purposes. That would not be for the development itself. Hopefully in the future, at some point, this will continue to the west into the properties currently owned by Silver Cross. We have another stub street down by the Kitty Academy that would connect and take people north so that there would ultimately be an access point on 159th Street, but in its current configuration, there would not be. The landscape plan well exceeds our requirements, both for foundation planting, but also for tree planting and island planting. So it's a very, very well landscaped site. Will be a really nice entry point into the city as far as that major intersection goes. Architecturally, it meets all of our exterior material standards as well as our design standards. This would be the north elevation of the Dunkin' building. Face brick is all the gray There's some fiber cement panel, which is the light gray up behind the Duncan, and then there is fiber cement lap siding made to look like wood. If you've been over to the Duncan that was just constructed in Homer Glen on 159th Street, very similar to what that looks like there is what this would look like. This is the south facing. This would be what you see from Culver's. Both the cooler container or structure would have face brick around it, as well as the rear of the building. This is the south face that you would see from Farrell. You would see the drive-through windows in this location. And this is what you see from the internal parking lot. This is the other building to the west. This would be your north elevation from 159th Street. Like we told the Plan Commission, once tenants start to get identified in here, they will start to identify signage, and there will be some elements that change to match the branded color for whoever that tenant is. So like the steel canopies or some of the doors or some of those things may change color to represent whoever that tenant is. So let's say if it is a Jimmy John, there may be more use of red, there may be more use of black to reflect their brand. But that will come once those tenants are identified. This would be then the south elevation, the east elevation. This is from internal to the parking lot, and then the west elevation, which would be from the Silver Cross parcels. Standards for a special use. This one is related to it being necessary or desirable. We believe that it will be a benefit to the community. It transforms a vacant property that has been long vacant into a commercial development. It will relocate and allow for an expansion of an existing Dunkin' business that we currently have at Reed Street that will relocate to here, as well as offer us another food option with the Jimmy John's, as well as whatever the second tenant would be in that space, and an opportunity for new businesses to be able to operate here. This is related to it having a substantial adverse effect upon adjacent property. We do not believe that this will have an impact on adjacent property. The right-in, right-out traffic study confirmed that a right-in, right-out change would be necessary, and the access is already existing via the Culver's drive-through, or the Culver's connection to the full access of Panda Express. And that cross access will allow people to be able to turn left out of this area if they so chose. This one is related to it being designed and arranged and operated so that it doesn't impact neighboring properties. So it meets all of our district regulations. There are no variances or requests for the project to not be in compliance with our code. And it fits within the existing zoning. It's just simply the drive-through that triggers the special use permit. So our request is to place ordinance 26009 and resolution 26048 on the April 15th agenda for action or consent. Be happy to take any questions.
Does anybody want this as an action item?
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Just when you're coming off of 159th onto Farrell Road, just that diagram, is that an out only or is that an in only, that very first entrance?
Right, I think it's right in, right out.
Yeah,
Right in, right
so
out.
it would be
Okay.
right in, out.
Got it.
There is no left out,
Got it, perfect.
and there is no left in.
Okay,
So the only people that can get in at that location are people coming south on 159th Street.
Yep.
And that's it.
that's it, perfect.
And then
Okay.
the others would come in at Panda Express, and they would go in front of Culver's. Just like technically, once Panda Express, the empty lots that are west of or south of Panda Express get built, it's the exact same relationship. You drive in front of all the other retailers to be able to access the light if you need a light, to access the full access if you need a full access, or the right in, right out if you're just simply turning right out.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so once again, does anybody want this as an action item? If not, we'll go consent. Okay, consent. Okay, PW1.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll handle the public works items as Brian's on vacation. Resolution 26046 is to accept a proposal for subdivision tree trimming with Home Care Tree Service for an amount not to exceed $129,500. We've been trying to increase our tree trimming program in the last several years. We wanted to make it more of a 4-year cycle versus an 8-year cycle. We'll still have our own crews cutting and maintaining trees as well, but this will be in addition to that, trying to keep up on our urban forest. We received 2 quotes for the new 4-year cycle, and Homer Tree was the lowest responsive bidder at the $129,500. We budgeted $125,000 for additional parkway tree services in the 2026 budget season. So we're seeking approval of Resolution 26046 to get started on some additional tree trimming. There's a map here of some of the extra neighborhoods that'll be done. Any questions? We budgeted this and talked about it at our 2x2s.
Why don't we put this on as an action item because we're spending money?
Okay.
Okay. PW2.
Yep. Next item is a resolution 26045 to work for some emergency repairs on the Hamilton Lift Station with Conley Excavating for $56,737. If you recall, we had to do some emergency repairs to Maryknoll Lift Station. Conley Excavating was used to do the repairs in emergency conditions. Once we've inspected some of these other lift station areas, we realized another one just like it was also in disrepair. And to avoid more future emergencies, we've asked Conley to do the same kind of work for this other pump with a proposal of $56,737. Our funding is available through the budgeted system maintenance line item in the budget. And so we're seeking to approve this resolution to make these repairs at the Hamilton Lift Station.
Okay, because we're going to be spending money, let's put that on as an action item.
Okay.
And PW3?
Yep. PW3 is an IGA with IDOT, Illinois Department of Transportation, Resolution 26043. This one, we got notification from IDOT that they had planned to do a bunch of resurfacing down State Street all the way down to Joliet. And we had plans to do a water service replacement on 171 from Daggett to Division in 2027. So the Public Works staff reached out to IDOT, and I want to give them credit because they did a nice job talking to them so that we don't, do our work, then they do work, and then it doesn't go cohesively. And IDOT agreed and is going to pull this section out of their project, allow us to do the work, and then they're going to award us the funds that we would have spent resurfacing. So it's a nice budget win for us and a nice job for Brian and his team. But basically, IDOT's going to give us the funding to do the resurfacing and construction engineering that we would need to do for $450,000 and reimbursing us 100%. So again, it delays part of their project, but they're going to provide us funding to complete it for them. So.
Okay, consent?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so anything that wasn't on the agenda, open floor comments. Anybody from the public wish to speak? Seeing none, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Steve and Robin. All in favor? Aye.
I hate that.